Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? It's your boy Isaac,
And this is your boy Bryce.
and we are Brothers on Tennis. And folks, we've come to the second Grand Slam of the year, Roland Garros 2023. Others know it as the French Open, others know it as the Nadal Open. But Bryce, unfortunately, our namesake won't be there this year, bro. I'm a little sad.
Yeah, but we're probably the only people sad because the rest of the men's tour is like, let me at it.
Right?
I have a chance, you know.
Oh my goodness. You know, folks are going to be going into this Grand Slam, especially on the men's side, with some serious, serious hype.
Absolutely. And it does actually make the tournament a little more exciting because otherwise everyone would be going in saying, well, of course it's Nadal, and then we'll see if somebody else can do something. But without Nadal being there are several players that have come into the tournament pretty hot.
Absolutely.
And they're probably licking their chops. And I say, hey, why not? So it'll be very interesting to see who's able to actually get the job done at the end of these 2 weeks.
I 100% agree with you, Bryce. And I am so looking forward to breaking down this draw with you. Before we get there, though, I want to make a mention that this episode of Brothers on Tennis is brought to you by the law offices of Paul S. Haberman. Are you a sports enthusiast in need of legal representation? Look no further than the law offices of Paul S. Haberman. Paul S. Haberman is not just an experienced attorney, but also a longtime lecturer on sports law related matters. He is currently presenting Everyday Sports Law, a continuing legal education lecture for attorneys in sports and entertainment law, was named to the Super Lawyers New York Metro Area Rising Stars list for 3 consecutive years, and has been a valuable resource for sports professionals for over 15 years.
As a matter of fact, Paul S. Haberman once managed a world-level junior welterweight boxer and former Olympian. He has represented 5 current or former world champions in boxing and MMA, and has had at least 50 to 60 other clients involved in sport. Whether it's contract law or healthcare law or intellectual property law, Paul S. Haberman covers it all. Don't let legal issues hold you back from achieving your dreams. Call the law offices of Paul S. Haberman today at 201 564 0590 to schedule a consultation. That's 201 564 0590. And for those in the way, way back, it's 201 564 0590. Let Paul S. Haberman fight for you both in the ring and out of the ring.
Yes, sir. All right, Bryce, we are on to this French Open draw. And I guess one of the things that we, of course, do before we dip in is we talk about these first round popcorn matches, bro. Bro, there's some good ones, don't you think?
They are going to get it popping from day one. But honestly, Isaac, haven't we gotten used to this? I mean, the depth in both the men's and the women's games really provide us this kind of opportunity, right?
It really does. It really does.
You're seeing either upcomers against veterans or people who should have been seated that didn't quite make being seated, and they're popping up in interesting places. It's all very good for the game.
I absolutely agree, my friend. And yes, we've got some goodies. So which side would you like to start on? Would you like to go with the ladies or the men first?
Let's go with the men because we'll start with our draw predictions with the women.
All right, sounds good. I like that, my man. So what do you have first coming out the gates?
The first one is, I think, a real potential upset as it relates to a seeding standpoint.
Yeah.
We have Denis Shapovalov, who, let's be clear, he hasn't really been on top of his game for a little while now.
Right.
And clay is probably not his favorite surface.
Mm-hmm.
Coming in against a fairly hot Nakashima.
Right.
And Nakashima likes the clay, and we know all about that backhand. So I would not be surprised to see Brandon pull off this upset.
I agree with you wholeheartedly because again, Shapo has not been a form in a while, and again, Nakashima just actually lost to our boy Arthur Fees in this warm up tournament, but he played some outstanding tennis throughout, and it's really nice to see Brandon back in the throes of things. So I agree with you. I think that has potential upset written all over it, my man.
Right,
Yes,
right.
sir. And another Canadian that I'm concerned about given his first round match is our boy FAA Felix Auger-Aliassime because he is playing the ever so tricky Fabio Fognini, and Fognini always loves a good contest and a good upset.
Right. And he loves to get in somebody's head.
Yes,
So that's gonna be a very, very interesting match to watch. And again, FAA, he had to withdraw last week due to, I believe, a shoulder injury.
that's right.
So if that has any kind of impact on his game, Fonini could potentially get an upset there.
I agree. Absolutely agree, my man.
And let's stay on with that same theme of players coming in with maybe not the best form or on let's say form that is we're not exactly sure what it is at the moment. We have a battle of two Americans. We
Yes,
have
yes.
Sebastian Corda going against Mackie McDonald.
Right.
And not that Mackie McDonald has really been burning it up lately. And Corda, I haven't seen him in a minute.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm not sure which one is in better form. So that, Mackie is always good for an upset, and Corda is always good for jumping into form very quickly. So I want to keep my good eye on this one.
Absolutely. It's always good seeing two Americans battle. And again, Quarter coming off of that wrist injury, Mackey's a battler. So that one is, in my opinion, right now, again, based on what you said, it's a complete toss up, but it's definitely a popcorn match that's worth watching. That's for sure. Yeah. And how about your boy, man? Now, this is the one that I flagged and I was like, whoa, I am
Hmm.
interested to hear Bryce's thoughts on it. And that is, I'm assuming he is still on your team, and that is Davidovich Fokina against our boy Arthur Feast.
Oh, when I saw this, it just broke my heart. Um, and yes, they are both on my JV squad.
Yes.
Neither has ascended to the varsity squad yet. But look, with Arthur Feast, and this is another one of our Karatsev type of guys, right? We
Yes.
pegged him a couple of years ago. He's finally coming into his own. He just won his first title this weekend over a very informed Cerundolo.
Yep.
That was a great win.
Whew.
But, he's going against Davidovich Fokina, who loves a battle, and
Yes.
especially in 5 sets. And
Yes.
so I'm I'm torn. I know we're not doing predictions right now. I'm picking Feast though in this match just
Hmm.
because he'll be the homeboy
Right.
on the
Yep.
courts,
That's big.
and he's coming off of winning a title, so his confidence has to be really high. But he's
Hmm.
going to have to work for it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Davidovich Fokina is not going to give him an inch.
I agree. Completely agree. And I agree with you. I think I'm going with Feast on this one because I think he's also one of the French people that doesn't shy away from, the support of the French. Some people kind of, when they play in their home country, they get all nervous and, oh my God, and the pressure. I don't think he's like that. I think he's going to use all of that support to help him get through those 5 sets. And like you said, it will be a battle, but I do feel like I'm just leaning towards Feast on this one for whatever reason. And like you, I mean, I don't have him on my squad, but I like Davidovich Fokina. I like his
Yes.
game. I like
Hmm.
how he plays. But yeah, that one's gonna be fire, bro. I saw that one and put that one immediately in highlights.
I know that has to be one of the best first round matchups on the men's side. for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. And someone who I kind of follow, I mean, and this is kind of more lower key,
Hmm.
that I put as a popcorn match was, of course, Stan Wawrinka against Albert Ramos Benoles.
I thought about you on that one.
Yeah, because he's a clay courter. He's my guy. I tend to follow him, but him against Stan, I just feel like Stan might just come out and start whipping that backhand on him, and he might not be able to handle all that Stan
Right.
got.
And Stan's gonna be like, I won one of these before, so
Right? I'm
you
comfortable
know,
here. I need you to get out the way.
exactly. Ask Djokovic. Ask him.
Exactly. Ask him. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do.
Right.
Oh, I
Now,
love it.
now for this next one, Isaac, I don't know if he's going to. Okay, it's potentially an upset because of the way the seedings are.
Right.
Ben Shelton is
Yep.
actually seated at 30, but he's playing Sonego.
Yep. Yep.
And Sonego is, I believe, a much better player on clay,
Right.
and especially against best of five.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ben's only shot to win this match is if he hits Sonego off the court, and I'm not sure that he can do that for a best of five set match.
Right.
I hope Ben wins. That's who I want to win, but I think it will be a shot making match at minimum.
I completely agree with that. Yeah, they both are big guys. I think they're going to bring a lot of game to the court, pretty evenly matched. Again, like you said, I think Sonego plays pretty good, or Sonego plays pretty good on clay. So it's going to be a tough one for Ben, but I'm still going to lean Ben's way. I'm still going to lean rather Ben's way because I think he just kind of, he's still figuring out. He blasts himself on the tour, and we saw what he did at the Australian Open. So he's definitely someone that I think is a big time match player, and I don't think he wants to see himself going out. So I think he will edge himself through in maybe five, but I do see this one being a five setter potential.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. All right. And for me, and I wrote this one down only because I don't know that it's an upset, but I just, for whatever reason, needed to flag it. And that was the Jajiri versus Rublev. Because Jajiri plays extremely well. I mean, clay is by far his best surface. I mean, I've seen him do some great things over the years on this surface. And to be playing Rublev, that's a tricky first round for Rublev. I do believe he will get through it. But don't be surprised if that one doesn't go 4 sets. I mean, honestly, I feel like Jajiri might get out there and really give Rublev all that he can handle. So that one I feel like is going to be a tough one.
Okay. I hadn't really thought about it like that, but I think you're right.
Yeah. How about you, bro? What else do you have on yours?
Well, I think another upset potentially is we've seen an informed Struff recently.
Yes.
And he's seated number 21, but he's playing Lehechka.
Yep.
In the first round. And I don't know that he's necessarily going to get through that one.
I completely agree with you. I think that he has had a really great season. Again, made it as a qualifier to the finals of Madrid, really gave a strong match to Alcaraz. But for me, I just, the Lehechka, man, he is just a tricky young up and comer, and he has a great game. And I think he'll be able to handle the firepower that Struff is going to bring. So that one's going to be an interesting match. I kind of agree with you. I think that he might be at risk of getting upset. But yeah, we'll see,
Right.
Yeah, that is a good one. The one that I really honestly concerns me, only because of the tricky nature of this particular individual, is that Krajinovic versus Tiafoe match. That one concerns me. It really does. Yeah. Because we know that clay is not Tiafoe's favorite surface. We know that.
Right.
And Krajinovic is just, again, you never know who you're going to get when you get on court with him, because he's played some big time tennis at times, and then other times he just gets smacked around and thrown off the court. So we don't know which one of those two we're going to get. But for me, it is very concerning to see that matchup in the first round.
Right. I looked at that. I didn't star it, but I thought about it for sure. Now, I tell you who gets the award for the unluckiest qualifier in the first round in terms of having to play against a qualifier,
Uh-huh.
and that's Alexei Popyrin. Because it looks like Karatsev has kind of figured things out. He took
Right.
a bit of a slide there for a while, and
Yes.
he appears to kind of be back in form.
Mm-hmm.
And he rolled through qualifying,
Yes, he did.
right? So I'm not exactly sure I would want to be playing Karatsev in the first round, and we know he ain't scared.
Right. At all.
So,
At all.
in all honesty, I really expect for Karatsev to win that match.
Same here. Same here. Yeah, I absolutely expect him to get the W there. Yeah. And Bryce, the one that I have, of course, is our dude. The
Yes,
5-1-3. We got
yes,
JJ Wolf versus Nishioka.
yes.
I expect for JJ Wolf to win that match, and I will be shocked if he does not. I really would be.
I totally agree with you. And, I didn't know what JJ's game on clay would look like, especially since he's such a shot maker. But I've been impressed with
Yeah,
his preparations coming into this year's Roland Garros, and he's had some pretty good results. And the people that he's lost to, I think, are people. There's no shame in who he
exactly.
lost to. So
Exactly.
um, I expect for Wolf to get through that match
Yeah,
for
100%,
sure.
bro. 100%.
So
Any
that's
others?
no, I think that's good for me with the men.
Yeah, same here. That's all I got out of mine. And then transitioning to the ladies, I mean, I think this is, of course, the biggest match by name, of course, on the first round, and that is, of course, Bianca BB Andreescu
Yes,
versus Victoria Azarenka Vika.
yes.
Bryce, that one's gonna be that one. That one, I feel like it's a big name match, but for whatever reason, I just feel like Vika's probably gonna spank up on BB.
Yeah, you're right on it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a blockbuster matchup by name, but
right.
let's not forget Andrescu is just coming back still from that injury,
That's
so
right.
we don't really know that she's 100% yet.
Right. Right.
And it's a major, and Vika is a multiple major winner, so
Yes,
I expect for Vika to get through that one as well.
I agree. Absolutely, man.
Now, this next one is kind of interesting because it may not be the biggest blockbuster matchup in the first round, but uh, your girl, uh, Allison Risk Armitage,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
playing on a surface that may not be her favorite, because we know
Right.
that grass is her favorite, but
Correct.
she's playing against that up and coming Andreva.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely don't see because we haven't really heard much from Ali Risk Armitage of late.
No.
So I would not expect her to do well. I think that she actually may be just playing to get her form right for the grass.
Yep.
So I fully expect for Andreva to actually win that match. When I saw it, I was like, yeah, that one might be an L for old Ali.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know that yeah. Anyway, that's on that one. The other one, speaking of an American, we've got two Americans battling one another, and Danielle Collins and Jessica Pegula.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we don't know what form we're going to get because, again, similar to Ali, we haven't really seen Danielle Collins much of late. So, and unless we forget, wasn't she a semifinalist here at Roland Garros? For
Uh,
whatever reason, I thought she made a deep run one of the years. I could
yeah,
be wrong.
yeah. I'm not sure with
Anyway,
Roland Garros, but
yeah, that's okay. But again, I just feel like that one could be a very interesting matchup. I do, of course, expect Pagula to get through it, but you never like to see two Americans having a battle like that in the first round.
right. You know what? I was wondering what your thoughts were on another match, a little bit up in the draw above that.
Yeah.
Sakari against your girl Muhova.
Oh, I have that one down for sure, and I absolutely think that is going to be the upset of the first round. Calling
Oh
it.
wow. Okay.
Calling it. I'm already calling it. Muhova has been playing some outstanding tennis at coming into this clay court season, or during the clay court season, I should say. Because mind you, she had been out for a while. She had an injury. She was someone, in my opinion, that was really scratching to get into that top 10. And I think that now she's healthy, she's finding her form, and she's really, really going to try and make her way through it. I think that coming into this match, she ain't gonna be scared of Sakari, and we
Right.
already know the mental struggles that Sakari has. Mind you, they
Mm-hmm.
tend to be in the latter rounds of tournaments, but with this being a Grand Slam, I think the pressure will be high because she will potentially go out the first round, and I think that will get to her. I actually am calling Muhova on this match, bro.
Wow. Okay. I was wondering,
Yep.
what you thought about that one.
Yeah. That
But
one, in my opinion, is the most competitive. If I'm looking through all of the first round popcorn matches for the ladies, that one to me, again, because I think that it will be an upset. I really do.
okay. Now, Isaac, I did want to call out this one. So like on the men's side, when I said that Popperin was the unluckiest person in terms of which qualifier he drew,
Yeah.
I'm gonna flip it and reverse it for the women, because the qualifier to me that I got the unluckiest matchup in the first round is your girl Taylor Townsend,
Yeah. Yeah.
because she gets Potapova, and
Woo.
she might Taylor, good job in the qualies, but get ready to get focused on your doubles, because I just don't
Yeah.
see that coming for her.
Yeah, Potapova is playing at a whole nother level. I mean, she is trying to, get herself, in the top 10. She's inserted herself in that discussion area, if you will, of those who are going to be really, showing themselves for 2023. So it's going to really take an incredible effort on Taylor's part to get past Potapova. She
Yeah,
kind of, in my opinion, would have to hope that she has an off day, which I don't see happening.
no, me either.
Yeah, but like you said, kudos to Taylor for how she's been playing, though. I mean, she has actually been playing some really, really, really good tennis. Played some great matches in qualifying for the French Open. So, just keep up that form and keep your confidence, Taylor.
Right.
Yeah. So, Bryce, the one that I have, which I don't know if this is really, oh, I have to really get into my seed marches, but the one I flagged was Layla versus Lynette, Magda
Yes.
Lynette.
Yes.
Because I love me some Layla Fernandez, y'all. But she's been having some, I don't know, her results haven't been good. I heard a report that she had like 16 missed tosses or something on her serve. So apparently she got toss issues. And so I'm just wondering what's going on with our girl Layla, man.
Her cheat codes got put on the internet. And I tell you, they did, and everybody sat down and learned those moves. It was like down, down, up, right,
Right?
and and everybody is having all kinds of success against Layla
Yes,
Fernandez.
they are, bro. Yes, they are, and it hurts my heart, man, because we love Layla. She had that
Yes,
great performance again a few years back at the U.S. Open, but I tell you, man, yeah, she's definitely going to have to step back and rethink how she's playing her game. But I definitely, unfortunately for me, yeah, I see her going out first round.
yeah. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Can I bring up something, Isaac, that I don't bring this up necessarily from the standpoint of this is a first round match that I have to be glued to, but just
Yeah.
Peyton Stearns, who
Hmm.
shout out Mason, Ohio,
That's right.
um, shout out to practice partner of Maxie Duncan, our Spotlight Series person,
That's right.
but she's playing Siniakova, and I really
Hmm.
don't. I mean, singles wise, okay, whatever. But that tells me that Krejcikova and Siniakova are going to be in the doubles tournament.
I know,
So,
right?
so I love you, Goff and Pagula, but
It might be tight. It
it
might
might
be
be
tight
tight.
on you. Yeah, I noticed that as well, Bryce. And I was like, okay, if she's coming back here, she's definitely coming back to play the doubles. And
Oh yeah,
yeah. So that they're if they can find their rhythm again, her and Krejcikova, yeah, you might as well go ahead and start riding on the trophy.
right, exactly.
Yeah, but that
But
was a good one.
but for the actual matchup, I wanted to talk about is shout out to Svitolina coming back after having the baby,
Yes. Come
catching a
on.
title
Come
this
on.
weekend,
Yes.
and she's playing against Sloane Stevens' best friend, Trevisan.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I
I think
tell
that's a
you.
winnable match for her.
I absolutely agree with you. I think that one's going to be a battle. And mind you, Bryce, Trevisan is defending semifinal points for the
Yes,
Roland Garros. So you know
yes,
there's going to be nerves there too. I absolutely think that that is going to be an upset. I really do.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we will definitely have to keep our eyes on that. Of course, I had to mention Keys against Kanepi, two
Yep.
big hitters. I think that's going to be a really nice matchup to see, who can out hit the other. I do think that Madison will get through that one.
Hmm.
But again, you can never underestimate Kaya Kanepi,
And you can never. I'm gonna stop.
though.
I'm gonna stop. Longtime listeners of Brothers on Tennis, you know what I was about to say. So we're gonna keep it moving like soul
Oh,
to soul.
there you
All
go.
right.
Oh, too funny. Oh man.
Uh,
So who else you got on there, my man?
well, if we're sticking with talking about Sloane Stevens' best friend, let's go ahead and talk about Sloane.
Yeah.
Um, she has, we'll just call it one of the Pliskovas now. I don't know which is the good one or which one was the bad one anymore.
Right.
But again, Pliskova's another one we haven't seen a lot of,
Right.
so don't know what form she's in.
Yeah.
Clay obviously is not her best surface. She can play on clay, but it's not her best.
Right.
Sloane is a previous, Roland Garros finalist, and just recently got a title.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, this is another one. Two big names.
Right. Right.
Not exactly sure what the quality of the tennis is going to be, but
Mm-hmm.
it'll be interesting to see how this one pans out.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I'm expecting for Sloan to win this, but again, we never know which Sloan we're going to get on the court. So for me, I'm just going to watch, and whatever happens, I don't know that I'll be too surprised.
Exactly.
Either way it goes. So we're gonna stick with some more Americans, Bryce. I've got, and this is just kind of one that I threw out there just because I'm always a fan of Shelby Rogers.
Hmm.
But you know that there go that girl. You got
Yeah.
Petra Martic who is taking
Yep.
on Shelby, and like I said, Petra's always she's good for an upset. So that one will be a tough one for Shelby Rogers for sure.
Oh, for sure. And we love Shelby. She has such a, we've met her a couple of times and she's
Yes.
got, a great personality. But I don't know that personality is going to get this one done because Martic is, clay is her best surface.
Yeah.
And she's actually had some decent results early this year.
Right. Absolutely, man. So, yeah. And I guess staying on the American mantra, you've got Bernarda Pera playing against
Hmm.
Contavate. We know, Contavate has, she was what? She got in the top five at one point,
Yeah, I think she's
almost.
number four one
Yeah.
time, right? Yeah.
Right. So of course she had the injury. She's still kind of figuring out and coming back from that. So we don't know who we're gonna get. But I do see that one as being a really interesting first round matchup. That's for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Isaac, I don't have anything else on the women's side in terms of the first round. Do you?
The last one I would mention, bruh, is of course, and I don't think that this has upset potential, but I think it will be a tougher match than what we're seeing on the screen, and that's Sabalenka versus Kostiak. Kostiak actually is a really, really good player, and I feel like that's not the most ideal first round match that Big Sab would want to see, but I
Right.
also think that it might be good for her because she'll get a challenge, she'll get someone that hits the ball big, and she'll be able to kind of deal with it and really get kind of get the juices flowing, if you will, for the rest of the tournament. So interesting first round, but at the same time, I definitely see her getting through it though.
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So, let's talk about the draws and kind of our predictions. And I know, Isaac, you and I had talked the other day when the draws first came out, and we just thematically, we felt like the men's draw was very balanced, top to
Yes.
bottom, right? There's there wasn't a particular quarter that was a quarter of death or a quarter that
Right.
was a Duncan Hines cake quarter. But on the women's side, I guess they really want to test Iga, huh?
They were like, okay, you injured, we're gonna test it. We're gonna test it out. Cause yeah, Iga got a rough draw, Bryce. Rough draw. Whew. I am, yeah. It's going to be interesting to see, yeah, how she holds up. The first and foremost, we're hoping that she's able to come into it with being 100%. I mean, that's
Right.
first and foremost. So, but again, even if she does, she's got some names that are really going to be tough to get past, bro.
Yeah. I agree. So we'll talk about, how we think Iga may or may not get through that and who would be waiting for her towards the end. So we typically start at the quarterfinals.
I believe so. Yes.
For the majors. So you want to take your first swing starting at the top half of the women's draw?
Yeah, for sure, Bryce. So for me, we were just talking about Iga. I see her having an extremely tough battle in the round of 16 with Krejcikova. I do feel like she's going to come through that match. I do feel like it's one of those things where, yeah, you beat me 2 times before, but they were on hard court. Now we on my court.
Right.
So I'm gonna have to put some things on you. And even though both of them have French Open titles, I do feel like, again, Iga will make it through that one. I have her actually battling, and I know you're gonna laugh. I have her battling Madison Keys because I have Keys making it to the quarters over Kalinina. As we saw, Kalinina has had some great results. I mean, she made it extremely far in Rome, having to retire in that final. But I think she will rebound, and I think that she will have a relatively good tournament. But for whatever reason, I have noted Keys as being Iga's quarterfinal opponent.
Okay.
The bottom of that top half, I have Rybakina, and I have her getting there over Haddad Maya. My goodness, I can't even say her name right. And for me, the upset, in my opinion, will be the next one, which I actually am noting Vekic, because I think Vekic is going to take out not a 100% Jabber.
Oh, I can see it. It's funny, Isaac, because especially listening to your reasoning, we aren't very different in the top half. I have Swiatek coming in over Krejcikova. For pretty much the same reasons. Here is the biggest difference, because of course I don't have Keys in the quarterfinals. But who I do have there is your girl, Cooter.
Oh, okay.
I actually have Cooter taking out Keys, and then Cooter taking out Goff.
Okay.
Yeah. So I felt like I was showing one of your girls love here. So I have her. Right. So I have her matched up against Swiatek. Same thing with Rybakina over Haddad Maya.
Yep.
And then I had Vekic against Jabber. I went with Jabber just because, and I definitely get what you're saying. Just later rounds of a major, I give the edge to Jabber.
Yeah,
I feel like if they had maybe played an earlier round, she would be more at risk. But if Jabber can make it to that round, I think her experience may help bring her through.
I can agree with that. I can definitely align to that as well. That one was just sort of a tough one for me, so I just was like, let's go with your gut. But right. I agree with you. I agree.
Now, so you have Swiatek versus Keys and Rybakina versus Vekic. Who do you have in the semis up top?
Okay, up top. So, and honestly, those 2 matches we just talked about, they don't matter because they don't matter. Because who I have in the semis is going to be Iga versus Rybakina. They're gonna come back around again, y'all. It's time for round 2, and we're gonna see what's up. So that's who I have. How about you?
Same thing. Don't matter. Swiatek and Rybakina.
Right. So that's why I wasn't too stressed about those other 2. I was like, no.
Right. And who do you have coming through between those 2? to the finals?
So for me, I actually have, and this is where it gets tricky. I think
Okay.
Rybakina will make it to the finals. I feel like even if Iga is 100%, I think that loss, even though she had to retire, I think she learned a lot about how she needs to play Iga and
Mm-hmm.
Iga's patterns. And I'm sorry, y'all. Rybakina, in my opinion, is one of the most solid mental ladies out on the tour right now.
She
She
is.
doesn't give you anything. She doesn't get frustrated. She just plays ball. And I feel like at that point, Iga is not going to be able to stress her, and I think that is going to stress Iga. And so I'm picking Rybakina to make it to the final, bro.
Yeah, this if this semifinal comes true, this is a 51-49 type
Correct.
thing to me.
Yep.
Um, and I went Swiatek just because she's got two of these titles.
Right. Yeah, fair enough. Yep. Yep.
You
Right.
know,
Yep.
so she'll be very comfortable on that court. She'll feel like this is kind of my house.
Right.
And we know with all the top players, sometimes it's not the best thing to beat them coming into
Right.
the
Because you
major.
had that revenge factor.
Exactly. A lot of motivation there. But look, would not be surprised at all if Rybakina pulled off the win. But I'm gonna put my coins behind Swiatek's name. So
Gotcha.
okay.
Gotcha. All right. So that's our top half. And so, Bryce, how about you kick off the bottom half for the ladies?
All right. So on the bottom half, you know, it seems like every tournament I get behind this lady and try to give her some hype. She win everything all year until it gets to a major when I put my name behind her. But assuming that she's healthy from her injury, I have Belinda Bencic coming through over Sakura
Okay.
because that's
Okay.
getting kind of late in the tournament for Sakura. So,
Gotcha.
and according to you, Sakura's not going to even get out of the first round. So,
Mm-mm.
so I have Bencic coming through there. Here is my, if you want to say, my surprise of the tournament, if you will.
Okay. Okay.
I have Bencic in a quarters meeting Potapova.
Wow. Okay.
I have Potapova taking out Pagula.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
I said it. Come at me, y'all. Right? So I have that. And then going down to the bottom bracket, I'm sorry, I got old crazy Ostapenko. Um, she has been hot as of late. I think she is feeling good about life. And I think she comes in there over Garcia,
Hmm.
the hometown girl. And
Okay.
then, of course, I couldn't pick anybody for her to match up against other than Big Fab.
Right. Gotcha. Gotcha. And who did you have her coming over in the round of 16?
Oh, I had her coming in over Zhang.
Okay. Yep. 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 All right. Very good. So it's this one we're a little bit different. I mean,
Okay.
not too different, but a little bit. Because of course I predicted that upset of Muhova, and because of the fact that I have not seen a lot of Bencic of late, I
Correct.
actually have Muhova making it to the quarters.
Oh, okay. All
And
right.
I have her coming in over Bencic though, so I at least have Bencic getting to round of 16. But I
Mm-hmm.
just feel like she's playing some really good tennis, so I'm just gonna throw my eggs in her basket, and we'll see how far we go. Hell, it might be just to the first round and out, but we'll see what happens. Uh, but I have Muhova making it to the quarters. And mind you, she shouldn't be scared because again, she made quarters and or semifinals at an Australian Open a few years back. So
Correct.
she's been able to she's been there. So she's been there, done that. So that shouldn't be a shock to her. The next one, which is really interesting. So I actually do have Pagula making it to the quarters,
Okay.
but I actually have Pagula beating Sharif in the round of 16. I For
What?
whatever reason, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Sharif. I like her game. I like how it looks on clay. It feels like she hits a very heavy ball. And yeah, I for whatever reason, I have Pagula versus Sharif, and I actually have Pagula in the quarters against Muhova. So that's that first quarterfinal for me. And honestly, ours match up exactly for the other two. I think Ostapenko will make it over Garcia, and I think Big Sab will get there over Queen, as we call her, Queenie Zhang.
Right.
So we're definitely aligned on those two for sure.
Okay. So since we're different up top, I actually had, don't laugh, I have Potapova coming in over Bencic.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Potapova, that check bet not bounce. Um, and then I have Big Sab coming in over Ostapenko.
Yeah. Same with me. I have Big Sab over Ostapenko, and I actually have Pagula taking out Muhova. So
Okay.
mine is Sabalenka Pagula. Yep.
Okay. And then I have Sabalenka going to the finals.
Agree. Same with me.
Okay. So you have Rybakina against Big Sab in the finals, and I have Swiatek versus Big Sab in the finals. And
Correct.
I think if either one of those comes true, that's going to be a great women's final.
Yes, sir. 100% agree. Because again, those are the three hot girls on the tour right now, and they are leading the way, and they are doing big things. So if we were to get that, either one of those, yeah, it's a victory.
Right. Okay, so let's bounce over to the men.
Well, Bryce, who did you pick though?
Oh, we didn't. Okay. I was saving that for the mid-fortnight show. No. Anyway, I look, like I said, the only two-time champion that I know of in a draw is Swiatek, so that's who I went with.
Oh, interesting. And see, I went with Big Sab because I feel like if Iga well, of course I have Rybakina getting there, but either one of them that gets there, I think they're gonna be tired. They're gonna be like, good Lord, I didn't have to battle. You know what I mean?
Right.
They've got some strong matchups. Whereas I feel like Sabalenka's road is a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually picking her to win Roland Garros this year.
Oh, wow. What kind of a year would this be for her to start off winning the Australian and the Roland Garros title?
Right. It's crazy, but we shall see.
Yeah, and if Swiatek ends up winning, 3 French Open titles, Roland Garros titles under your belt at such an early age. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say she's going to be Rafa with 14 or 15, but
But she can challenge though, because who's got the most of the ladies? Isn't it Chris Everett?
It would have to be Chris. Yeah.
So she could make a push potentially. Never know.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
Okay. Now to the men.
To the men. Man,
and like I said at the start of this, I love this men's draw because I think it is solid all the way through. So much so that on the women's draw where I felt like I was picking some upsets, I felt like I picked fewer upsets on the men. I felt like more of the seeded men are going to come through here.
Right.
And the draw will keep form a little more. But with that being said, Isaac, how did that top half look to you?
Yeah. So starting out, if we're starting out at the quarters, and I agree with you, Bryce. I feel like it was a much more balanced. I don't know that I really picked any major upsets from what I can tell, but we'll see. So quarters, of course, up top, you got to have Alcaraz because I think that he's going to come into the quarterfinal over Musetti. I have Musetti actually making the round of 16. I think that Alcaraz will play Tsitsipas in the quarters. Now, I don't know if the matchup that I have him coming through to get there will happen, but I have him playing FAA to get to the quarterfinals, and I think Tsitsipas would beat Felix to get there. Next quarterfinal, of course, you got to have Djokovic. I have him coming in over Hubie Hurkacz, which I don't even know if Hubie will make it because I know that clay is just really not the surface for him. But we'll see what happens there. And I went back and forth, but I went ahead and went with Rublev to make it to the quarters over Khachanov, his countryman, because they've been battling. They've had 2 battles this year. One went to Rublev, one went to Karen. But this being best of 5, I just think that Rublev has a little bit more stamina, and I just feel like he will want revenge for that last loss that he took to Karen. So those are my 4 I have: Alcaraz, Tsitsipas, Novak, and Rublev. How about you, bruh?
Isaac, this is so scary.
What's up?
We have the exact same 8.
Are you serious?
The exact same 8: Alcaraz, Musetti, FAA, Tsitsipas, Djokovic, Hurkacz, Khachanov, and Rublev.
Wow.
The only difference in terms of making the quarters, because we share the same on Alcaraz, Tsitsipas, and Djokovic.
Yeah.
I went with Khachanov.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I went with Khachanov. And like you, I went back and forth on this. I felt like in the majors, it seems like Khachanov comes through to me a little more.
Well, he has of late, that's for sure, because he made that deep run at the U.S. Open last year. What was it? The semis?
Right. So that's what tipped the scale a little bit for me.
Gotcha.
I was thinking like, okay, for a later round major match, I'm thinking. And then didn't Rublev take kind of a weird upset loss coming in?
He did. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure what that was all about. So, but I think either way, we're both saying there's going to be a Russian in that spot, and I bet you we both said that whatever Russian going to lose to Djokovic. So
it don't matter exactly.
Right? So we can like soul to soul, keep it moving.
Keep it moving. That's right, sir. That's right.
Oh, geez. So for the bottom, for me, this was a fun bottom half.
Okay.
I had Rune coming in over Cerundolo. I have Ruud coming in over Lehechka.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I knew you on that. I have Sinner coming in over Karatsev.
Interesting. Yeah. All right.
And then I have Medvedev coming in over Church.
Wow. Okay. So we were good on maybe 5 of the 8, I think, or maybe 6 of the 8. I think it might have been 6 of the 8. I can't quite remember, but
I know what 2 you didn't have.
Yeah. So I matched you with Rune Cerundolo, and I have Rune making it to the quarters. I do have Ruud making it to the quarters, but I actually have Struff. I don't think that Lehechka is going to get that upset. I think Struff is going to make it through. But again, I still have, like you, Ruud getting it to the quarters. Now, the third one is where it's interesting, because I actually have Zverev making it to the quarters, and I have him taking out Sinner. Now, as much as I love, Karatsev is our boy, and I love him to death.
Right.
I feel like Zverev is really beginning to find himself and find his form, and I think it's going to take a lot to upset him. And I'm actually thinking he's going to upset Sinner in order to make it to the quarters.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And my bottom half, of course, was I had Medvedev versus Curic as well. There's not who you had.
Yeah, that's who I had. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have Medvedev over Curic. Yep.
Okay. All right. So and maybe it doesn't matter or not, but we'll see. So I have Medvedev coming in over Sinner into the semis, and believe it or not, even though based upon some things we've said in the past on previous shows, I have Ruud coming in over Rune.
You do.
I do.
Okay.
And let me tell you why, just real quickly. I feel like Rune's opportunity to beat him will be if he can get it done in straight sets.
Okay.
I think if the match extends, it leans heavily in Ruud's favor.
Right.
And I would not be surprised if that is not even part of Ruud's strategy against him.
Okay, is to extend.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So that's why I picked him. And I do think there is a mental piece here. I
Mm-hmm.
do think, although we have acknowledged that Rude has not been playing as well as he did last year, and he had an incredible year last year, so it
Right.
may have even been unrealistic to think that he could maintain that level.
Right.
But as we have talked about players feeling like Rafa's not here this
Mm-hmm.
year,
Mm-hmm.
Rude, let's not forget, Rude kind of has like a bit of a relationship with Rafa and his whole academy. He has some of the same feelings that Alcaraz kind of has about being a legitimate successor
Right.
to a Rafa on clay. And
Mm-hmm.
having been a finalist last year, and the person that you lost to in the finals last year is not there this year,
Right.
that could be a motivator for him.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree. Mm-hmm.
So that was why I went with him over Runa.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, for me, I of course matched you with Medvedev. I do think that in my draw, he will make it over Zverev. I think that will be a spicy match, of course, but I think Medvedev again has shown that he is, mentally so he just again, I call him a genius because he set himself up perfectly for this clay court season. So I don't see him playing with any pressure. I see him making it through that match. And I actually am calling Runa over Rude. I think, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, I think it will need to be in straight sets, but I think honestly Runa will get that done. I don't
Okay.
know why I feel that way, but I just feel like he's trying to make his mark and he's trying to show that he's the part of that whole next big three. And in order
Mm-hmm.
to do that, you've got to show out in Grand Slams. And to
Right.
me, I think that he will see this as his opportunity to kind of really start cementing that statement. So, but like you said, bro, I can't disagree with anything that you said whatsoever because I agree with you. I think that if it does go past 3 sets, it's definitely in Rude's court for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, talking about making it to the finals,
yeah.
at top half, I have Alcaraz over Djokovic.
Hmm.
I just think too long, too strong. Um, and like I said about Rude, I think Alcaraz is feeling like heir apparent here with Nadal gone.
Right.
Djokovic, let's just keep it real. I mean, since Djokovic won the Australian, he ain't really done nothing.
No, he has not. In fact,
And
he had a lot of surprising upsets.
right. So it's not like he's coming in, on top of his game. Granted, he is Djokovic. He is a member of the Big Three. He has won, this title a couple of times. So, can he do it? Of course, Djokovic could win it all, right?
Yeah, of
But
course.
I think if Alcaraz is on his game, his to me his defensive skills match Djokovic's defensive skills.
Hmm.
They both kind of have that number one player in the world mentality now. They both, you know, um, are very comfortable in very big matches. But
Right.
I think the difference could be, as long as he doesn't get outside of himself, Alcaraz is a much more offensive player.
Right. Agree. Agree.
And if he can like not overhit, which he doesn't typically do, but as long as he doesn't overhit, you know, and his health is good, because that's where Djokovic gets a lot of people, or really, that's
Hmm.
where a lot of the big three got people because it was
Right.
best of five. And
Correct.
and I think you and I talked about this in a previous episode. Alcaraz is one of those few players that we feel can hang with them in best of five scenarios.
That's right. Absolutely agree. Yep.
So that's why I picked Alcaraz up top. At the bottom, I'm just sorry. I think Medvedev is feeling himself right now. And Medvedev, I just read in online, I think it was yesterday, he was saying, you know what? He's not letting winning Rome get to his head. He's still
Hmm.
feeling like he need to go in there and put in work. And of course he is,
Of
because
course.
that's
Yep.
how Medvedev thinks. And
Right.
I just think that he has too much guile and will frustrate Rude.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And yep.
that semi. So
Yeah, and honestly, Bryce, I feel the same way. Even though I picked Runa, for those reasons exactly. That's why I picked Medvedev to actually make it to the Roland Garros final. I think that he just mentally, he is, again, just so on point right now, and he's putting in the work. And again, I go back to my statement. He set himself up for a win-win season, because if he loses, hey, y'all didn't expect me to get this far anyway, because this isn't my best surface. And if I win, hey, how about that? And he loves those moments as well. We gotta mention that as well. So
right.
I match you in the final. I have Alcaraz versus Medvedev. Everything that you said in regards to the matchup against Novak, I completely agree. I just feel like he is going to be like, this is the House of Spain, and
Yes.
and we're not gonna let you. The barrier is strong.
Right.
The wall is strong. So we will see you later, Mr. Serbian.
Right, exactly. And in the finals, Isaac, I have Alcaraz over Medvedev. And the reason for that being, Alcaraz, to me, when you talk about how crafty Medvedev is, Alcaraz can match that.
I agree with that.
And the drop shots and the ESPN highlight shots, and he can match that. And also where Djokovic, I didn't say that. Where Medvedev sometimes can get in his opponent's heads, that ain't happening with Alcaraz. Alcaraz's mental is strong.
It's strong. It is strong. Yes, it is.
And I think it'll be I think that final could be one of those finals where it's a really tightly contested first set, like maybe even a tiebreaker. And then the doors get blown open after after that.
That is too funny.
And Alcaraz acknowledges Medvedev's growth on the surface and said, keep it up, buddy. Doing well.
You are too funny. And Bryce, I absolutely agree with the front part of everything that you said. But at the end of the day, and don't ask me why, I have Medvedev winning the Roland Garros title.
Are you serious? I mean, don't get me wrong. Medvedev is my dude, so I would not be upset with that in the least. But
I will explain myself.
Please,
I know, right?
do.
I know,
please.
Right? Because here's my feeling. Alcaraz, everybody's been talking about the whole Alcaraz Djokovic. We need to see them. We need to see the matchup. I feel like he will meet that challenge and will exceed it. He will take out Djokovic, make it to that final. I honestly believe, though, Bryce, at that point, it will be a matter of pressure, because at that point, he's the heir apparent. He's coming behind Nadal as the next Spanish great to win Roland Garros. I feel like that pressure, combined with the wittiness of a Medvedev, and again, his mindset is, I'm in a no-lose situation. I ain't supposed to even be here, much less win this thing. I just feel like a little bit of that pressure will get to Alcaraz, because, mind you, we have to remember, he is 20 years old. And we're talking about Medvedev, who to me is just the maniacal genius. And how for whatever reason, Bryson, I was looking at this and I was like, I was telling myself, I'm like, Isaac, you are not writing his name down. But then I was like, I'm writing his name down.
Nope.
Like you said, if we get this final, honestly, for me, I don't care who wins, to be very honest with you. I just think that it's awesome for both, because we're both fans of both of them. But I don't know. I found myself writing Medvedev, and I was like, well, okay, we just gonna roll with this. So I may get completely laughed at, but that's where my head is right now, bro.
You can't ever get completely laughed at for picking Medvedev. I mean, he's such a look. The thing that he has proven to people in this last 2 years, especially the last year, is initially we just thought of Medvedev as a hardcourt specialist, basically.
Right.
I mean, he called himself that.
Yeah.
And we saw for the first time last year him really start to show out on grass. Which surprised the crap out of me. And Clay this year he won a Master Series title on Clay.
Right?
I mean,
bonkers, bro. It's bonkers. So like I said, I don't know why, but I just picked him. I don't know. But again, I will be happy if either of those two win it, if they make it to the final. Like I said, I talk about two amazing finals that we can potentially have. I mean, it's just awesome, Bryce.
Right, right. I'm excited. I can't believe it starts tomorrow, man.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is so good, my friend. So good. So with that being said, Bryce, I know we're going to come to a close, but let's go ahead and do yet another plug because family, we do not want you to forget about Paul S. Haberman. So again, if you need legal representation, look to the law offices of Paul S. Haberman. Once again, he specializes in sports-related law, but covers a gamut of areas connected to it, from talent agreements to royalty disputes to medical malpractice or negligence to photography agreements to podcast agreements.
What? Podcast agreements?
I
You
know,
know,
right?
man, we needed that last year. We should have hollered at him back then. But
Yes.
but seriously, no, whatever you need, Paul S. Haberman is your guy. Call 201-564-0590 for consultation. Again, that's 201-564-0590. And one more time for the good folks in the back, 201-564-0590. Let Paul fight for you both in and out of the ring. So, Isaac, wonderful review of the tournament.
Yes.
We will be back next week to do our mid-fortnight review and to face up to these lies we just told. But really looking forward to a good couple of weeks of tennis coming up. Any final words that you have for our listeners?
Nah, Bryce, I'm just so very excited and just so intrigued to get this thing started. Y'all, make sure you're looking at our IG, our YouTube. We're gonna have posts out there, and just get out there and watch the tennis, man. Watch the tennis and enjoy. If you see something funny, share it with us and post it. We love seeing it.
Absolutely. And we want to give one more plug. You know how we do. We got two BOT family members over there at Roland Garros this year.
Yes.
We weren't able to make it this year, but we got two of our OGs over there. We'll have our boy Paul Oakley Stovall. You know him, you love him. He's probably going to shoot us some good content from there. And we also have OG Linnell. And if you haven't already seen her first post from over there, it's awesome. Go to
Fire.
our IG page and check that out. And she has promised to send us a couple of more. Linnell also is going to pick up some items for us for our Roland Garros gift bag giveaway after the tournament. So we know how y'all love the gift bag giveaways from the big tournaments. We have one coming again to you this year from overseas. So look forward to that. So thanks everyone for listening. Enjoy the tennis. But on behalf of the podcast, this has been your boy Bryce.
And this is your boy Isaac.
And we are Brothers on Tennis. We y'all.